No, I have to. Only because I have to. If you're not going to your problem. Not in the seat that you are. I know. You're going to be like, I'm only tired because you're going to listen to me. You're not going to be flying. Yeah. Look, what happened? Put your foot up. Put your foot down. It's not about the foot. No, it is. I'm telling you. But I booked my flight at 47 a.m. for really Oakland. I'm not drunk. I'm just tired. They're booking for the later flight. Right now, you're not going to get on that thing. I'm very tired. I got here, but already missing my way. Okay, we have two options. I agree. We'll go to where I give you a refund. You can purchase the tickets another day. What's the other option? I just gave you two options. You didn't say nothing. I did. I just had a conversation I gave you. Either I rebook you for the next option, the next flight available. I'm not leaving tomorrow. Or I give you a refund and you can purchase the ticket. You were running in the car. You hear my thing? No, I heard, but I gave you two options that I need you to choose from. Shut up, because you're missing me. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm refunding your ticket. No, because I have to go. You're going to get fired. Okay, but you're not traveling with yours. Please. No, ma'am. Miss, I don't need a refund. Only reason that I'm so upset is because I got here at 12 o'clock. Look, you want to know how it went? I got there an hour and a bit. Back behind the counter. Look, I'm going to tell you why I'm so upset. Because I had to pay $185 extra for the other ticket. You hear me? Look, I'm not even lying. Look. So this is why I'm so upset because they like, oh, when I got there the first time, they're like, oh, you got to book 2 hours in advance. So when I booked at 8:47 a.m., right? I got here in advance. And they still telling me the same thing. I don't like it. That's why I'm so upset. Because Spirit Airlines told me that, hey, you can get there at 11:47 a.m. and they were going to let you check in. I checked in, right? I checked in at 8:47 a.m., right? So she no longer has a flight. She's no longer traveling. Yeah. You done? Yeah. You're done? Yeah. So what's going on? Time to go. Let's go. You're not going to be traveling with them. From somewhere else over to Miami. Let's go. Yeah. So when is my money coming back to my card? 7 to 10 business days. No, it's a credit. It's a credit. You get it credit back to your... Miss, I don't have any money on my card. I already booked the flight for here. Yeah, I will. So when you give me the credit, I could use that for another flight? But listen to me. You saying it's taking 7 to 10 business days for the refund, right? So what? I'm gonna get the whole 150 back. Yeah, you get the money back. Yeah. Back up, please. I'm gonna get the whole 150. Yeah, you're gonna get the money back. Yeah. Back up, please. Yes, sir. I did back up. How much you want me to back up? I'm gonna need to take you to the airport right now.
On July 22nd, 2025, officers responded to Fort Lauderdale International Airport for a disturbance at a Spirit Airlines counter. A passenger had been denied boarding on the grounds of visible intoxication. What followed raises 3 distinct legal questions. First, did Spirit Airlines have lawful authority to deny boarding? Second, was there probable cause to arrest? Third, did the officer's conduct meet constitutional standards? On the first question, the answer is clear. Under Title 49, United States Code, Section 44902, airlines hold broad discretionary authority to refuse transportation to any passenger they determine poses a risk to the safety of the flight. This is a federal statutory right, not a matter of airline policy. The passenger's repeated claim that she was only tired does not override the agent's assessment. The standard is the airline's reasonable belief, not the passenger's self-report.
I'm sure something. I'm just...
We're going to exit the airport. We're going to have to exit the airport. Unless you go to the next terminal, book a flight with Delta. Because that's the private entity, they say you cannot be with them, you can. I understand that, but just print the receipt.
What the heck? 47 p.m. You wouldn't know that. Anybody want to know?
Your flight was canceled.
But listen to me.
Yeah, explain.
Listen, don't even think of the refund. The flight was about $122, right? You hear me?
Come on, let's go.
So I missed the first flight, right?
Listen, darling.
And I booked
We need to exit or you're probably going to get arrested. We don't want that.
No, I don't want to get arrested, but
Let's go outside.
So where can I book the flight? Because I had to get back to Spirit.
somewhere else.
But miss, why can't I book through Spirit? You can't manhandle a female. So don't touch me though. You acting like a weirdo.
Go to jail.
I'm gonna go to jail for you handling me like that? Don't piss me the fuck off.
Keep walking. Let's go.
But he's a racist. That's what it is. He's a racist. Fucking racist ass nigga. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Hey, I ain't asking you 15 times.
Mister, I walked away. That's all.
You don't want to listen.
I just listened. I walked away. You heard that.
Just put on.
Why are you doing that if I walked away? If I walked away,
Stop moving.
I'm not moving, but if I walk away, I'm walking away. That's what I said.
That's fine.
You said go to the other flight, right? So I was walking away. All I was doing is talking and pretty speech.
Have you been drinking? How many you drinking?
Not
Because I can smell
drinking.
the alcohol. I can smell it.
Okay, I took a, I didn't eat, but I wasn't drinking. But I'm just because I'm paying so much money.
Come on. Come on, please.
But if you're arresting me, it has to be for the good reason. And the reason you just arresting me. Huh?
Come on.
All right.
Back to the elevator right there.
You have my bag? But I have to book my flight. No, I wasn't being aggressive or nothing. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you are aggressive me. Listen, my love. I wasn't being aggressive or nothing. Why are you arresting me? I'm just asking you, listen to me, look at me.
What would you do?
The problem is,
40.
but look, the problem is I booked a flight, right? I booked the flight for today, right? So my problem,
Talking to the Delta.
but I'm letting y'all know. I booked the flight for today, right? When I was coming here, I came at about 12:47 p.m. So my problem is that they wasn't letting me get the flight because I was on some.
There's an email that keeps coming.
On the second question, probable cause, courts apply a totality of circumstance test. As established in Illinois versus Gates in 1983, probable cause does not require certainty. It requires reasonable grounds. Officers had the following. Airline agents reported visible intoxication. The passenger had already been removed from the TSA security checkpoint for behavioral issues, and her demeanor on camera was consistent with impairment. When asked directly whether she had been drinking, the passenger responded, and this is significant, I wasn't drinking. That evasive, incomplete answer is admissible. It is the kind of statement courts treat as circumstantial evidences supporting the intoxication element of the charge. Florida Statute Section 856.011, disorderly intoxication, requires two elements. The subject must be intoxicated and must either endanger safety or cause a public disturbance. Both elements are satisfied here. Audible impairment satisfies the first. Repeated refusal of lawful directives in a public terminal satisfies the second. On the third question, officer conduct, the legal standard is Graham versus Connor, decided by the Supreme Court in 1989. Force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene. What the officers employed here falls below the threshold that triggers serious Fourth Amendment scrutiny. Soft, empty-hand control and physical guidance are among the lowest tiers of the use of force continuum. The passenger also alleged racial discrimination. That claim does not appear to have evidentiary support in the footage. More importantly, it does not defeat probable cause. Under Wren versus United States, decided in 1996, the subjective motivation of an officer is legally irrelevant if the objective facts independently support the stop or arrest. One additional First Amendment point, the passenger's verbal complaints, even heated ones, even profane ones, are constitutionally protected under City of Houston versus Hill. However, protected speech does not immunize conduct refusing to exit a commercial terminal after repeated lawful directives conduct, not speech, and it falls squarely within Section 856.01. The charge was disorderly intoxication. The passenger was not trespassed. No use of force complaint has been identified.
My pocketbook?
Everything's in there.
Huh?
Can this come up?
Lower level, terminal 4, door 213.
Thank you.
413. Alright, is this related to the other case though, or were they pull something out?
It's not right.
Trespassing.
Trespassing.
Disorderly intoxication.
The lady told me that I could come. That's the thing. It's not right. But look though, the lady told me I could come, so how am I trespassing? She told me to come.
Your flashlight?
My flashlight fell somewhere.
I'll go look for it.
The lady told me I could come, so how am I getting arrested? She told me to come.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
We asked you to leave.
Watch your leg, man. Watch your leg.
But you gotta understand
We're
that
done
I
at the
just
counter.
paid about $500 extra.
And you got a refund.
No, I didn't. You're not understanding that. I didn't get a refund. I really didn't. You can look at my trauma code. That's the thing. But I'm not intoxicated. All I did was try to get an extra. Yes. But all I did was try to get an extra flight.
You want me to get it? Let's watch it, I guess.
I don't even need marijuana at the time. I don't. You hear me? I was not lying. I'm just letting you know that I just paid $800 extra for a flight. You hear me? But do you hear me? I was not complaining. I was letting you know I'm very upset. Imagine you paying $800 for a flight. Excuse me. I just had a question.
What?
I was upset because I didn't.
I understand you're upset, but the conversation was over and we asked you to leave.
That's all.
There's not much, but you
I
need to
wanted
take
to
your
let
earrings
you know
down.
that I was just about to cry, that's all, because, look, I had to spend $200. Let me talk to you real quick. Can you hear me out real quick? I was about to spend, look, can you hear me out real quick, mister?
Yep.
So the man was telling me how I was telling the lady how, all I told her was, I didn't touch her at all. You can look at the cameras. All I was telling her was I spent $200 extra on the flight, you know? So I was telling her I checked in at 8:47 a.m. I'm not used to checking in early, so I checked in at 12 o'clock, right?
Anything I need is gonna poke or prod me or anything. Okay.
But listen to me if this situation is on ignorant, okay?
She got no come out.
What was the initial call?
Well, initially, she went to the men's restroom, and we were asked to get her out. So we got her out. She was getting mouthy with us, but we got her out. She, she kept cursing, calling me a racist when I told her to get out of the men's room. She kept cursing at Penny. She goes, yeah, I have a fucking flight. And then so we saw her go, all right, well, hopefully she calms down. But she was acting weird, but I guess then when it got to the point that her date of birth matched her name on her license. And with the ticket, I guess when they ran, TSA does their thing, something didn't match. So they told her after the ticket counter. So she refused to listen, so we went to go escort her. And then we went to escort her, that's when she got worse and worse. And so she got stopped at TSA? Yep.
Well, the officer continues to explain, and it seems this woman had an issue with TSA, and that's why they sent her back to the counters in the first place. She also claims to have spent $800 on the Spirit flight, and that's why she is upset. I don't know a single soul that has spent that much on the Spirit flight.
And the other deputy's name at the checkpoint right now, Chapter. started flagging us over, me and the three of us. And I guess she was refusing to listen to them. She was trying to tell her, listen, TSA is telling you your DOB is not matching on their thing. You have to go back to the tick counter. So when we got back there, she started getting still got mouthy, calling out, just now off everything else, trying to demand everything, order everything. Then when Daisy kept trying to explain things to her, she didn't want to listen to Daisy. So Daisy said, you know what? I can rebook you tomorrow or refund your money. She still wasn't listening. Finally, Daisy goes, you know what? I'm canceling the ticket, refunding you, which is when you showed up, which is I guess before that part.
He wasn't there.
She was not cooperative. How you doing? She was intoxicated. Her name was Sarah.
And the issue was over her name?
Date of birth because she went to TSA.
And what did
She was not matching. I thought the supervisor was not compliant.
And what did you offer? To rebook her?
To rebook her or give her a refund. She wouldn't choose, so I chose one.
Her purse is over there? Give it to I mean, who's right here? She has another purse.
Huh?
A purse.
Here?
Yes.
Where you were at earlier, talking to Rayon, down there. It's on the scale.
Grab that and give it to Luke to do the property. I'm going to do the pieces.
Now, the grades. In minor deduction, the distinction between a credit and a cash refund was communicated ambiguously, creating unnecessary friction that extended the encounter. The responding officers receive a B+. They issued repeated voluntary compliance warnings before any arrest, obtained a full briefing from airline personnel, and applied proportionate physical control throughout. The deduction reflects one concern: 15+ verbal requests without consequence can functionally undermine officer authority in a public setting. Patience is a virtue, but in a busy terminal, efficiency also matters. Passenger receives a C. She did not physically resist arrest. That matters, and it is noted. But she refused lawful directives, made inconsistent statements, and rejected 2 reasonable remedies before the arrest occurred. C reflects that the arrest was legally a foreseeable and avoidable outcome of her own decisions. Key takeaways from this incident: if you believe a denial of boarding was unlawful, the remedy is a written complaint to the Department of Transportation, a demand letter, or civil litigation, not a prolonged confrontation at the counter. For law enforcement, this encounter is a useful model for de-escalation in a confined public space. The officers correctly prioritized voluntary compliance over speed of enforcement, and the encounter resolved without significant force. The one caution: when an individual has already been identified as intoxicated and disruptive across multiple locations in an airport, a faster enforcement threshold may be legally and tactically justified. Retranet has limits. For airline personnel, Daisy's handling of this situation was largely correct. The lesson is documentation. A contemporaneous written record of the basis for denial of boarding, signed by the agent and time-stamped, substantially strengthens the airline's legal position if civil litigation follows. Under 49 U.S.C. Section 44902, the airline's authority is strong, but authority without documentation is harder to defend in a Section 1983 civil rights claim or a breach of contract lawsuit. Leave your thoughts on this case in the comments below. If you found this analysis useful, consider subscribing for more legal breakdowns of police interactions. Thank you for watching.